There is a certain sacredness in silence. There are things within you, subtle, powerful forces that lose their potency the moment they are exposed to the noise of the world. Today, I want you to remember this. Not everything that is known within must be spoken without. There are 3 secrets you must never share, not because the world is evil, but because it is unconscious. First, never share your deepest desires. When a desire is pure, it is like a seed in fertile soil. It needs darkness, warmth, and quiet to grow, but when you speak of it too soon, you expose it to the cold winds of opinion, doubt, and ridicule. The world is quick to comment, to laugh, to poke holes. And what could have become a mighty tree dies as a thought that was never allowed to grow. Keep your desire sacred, not as a burden, but as a living prayer within you. Second, never speak of your inner journey. Your spiritual path is not a spectacle. It is not something to be flaunted or proven. It is a fire burning quietly in the heart of your being. When you speak of it to those who do not know the fire, they will only see smoke. And in trying to explain the inexpressible, you will dilute your own experience. Let your transformation speak through your presence, not your words. Third, never announce your acts of kindness. Charity is sacred only when the left hand does not know what the right hand is doing. The moment you declare your good deeds, they become currency for ego, not compassion. True giving is when even the one who gives forgets. Let your good deeds vanish into silence, the fragrance will remain. This world respects noise, but life responds to silence. Your depth, your strength, your grace, they are not built in the marketplace of attention, but in the temple of your inner stillness. So walk gently. Hold your sacred things close. What is divine must be protected not out of fear, but out of reverence. There is a longing in every human being, a dream, a desire, a vision that burns quietly within. It is not something taught to you by the world. It arises from somewhere deep within your being. But understand this: when a desire is truly yours, born out of your inner core, it carries immense energy. It is not just a thought, it is a seed of possibility. And like any sacred seed, it needs protection. When you speak too soon, when you share your desire with everyone, you are opening that seed to the winds of opinion, the weight of other people's fears, and the dust of unnecessary judgment. What was supposed to grow in silence is now battling noise, and often it withers. Have you noticed, the moment you say, "I wish to do this," 1,000 voices will rise, some laughing, some doubting, some pretending to understand, but none truly feeling what you feel. They have not tasted the texture of your dream, yet they carry sharp words, dull thoughts, and subtle poison, not because they are bad, but because they simply do not see. If you truly long for something, nurture it in stillness. Act, move, prepare, but do it quietly. Let your work announce your desire, not your words. A tree does not shout to the world, "I am growing," but one day it gives shade, fruit, and shelter. That is how desire should manifest, not as noise, but as undeniable presence. What is sacred is always hidden, like roots beneath the soil, like stars behind the clouds, like truth behind silence. Here are experiences in life that words cannot touch. When you begin to walk the path inward, when the fragrance of something beyond the physical begins to stir within you, it is not a story to be told, it is a space to be lived. The progress you make within is not for display, it is for deepening. The moment you try to share it with those who have not even glimpsed that dimension, you will find yourself misunderstood, mocked, or worse, advised by the blind. Your spiritual unfolding is delicate like the first light before dawn. If you try to capture it too soon, you miss it. If you speak of it too early, you may corrupt it with the need for validation. Most people are too entangled in survival to recognize subtler truths. They measure growth by what is seen, by what can be compared. But the inner journey is not about comparison. It is about dissolving boundaries, not building new identities. If you start announcing your moments of silence, your meditations, your so-called attainments, you are simply replacing one mask with another. What is truly transforming in you does not need an audience. It becomes visible in the way you walk, in how you breathe, in your presence. A flower doesn't declare its fragrance, those who are alive enough will sense it. So let your progress remain untouched by the urge to display, not because it must be hidden, but because it is sacred. When you keep it close, when you guard it like a flame in the wind, it grows. When you expose it to the world's glare too early, it flickers and may fade. True growth is not loud. It is subtle, silent, and sovereign. When you do something good for someone, when you reach out with compassion, with love, with the intent to uplift, let it be like the breeze that passes through without announcing itself. The moment kindness becomes an announcement, it turns into a performance. The purity of the act is lost in the shadow of expectation. What was meant to elevate your being starts feeding your ego. A true act of charity is not about being seen as generous. It is about becoming so full within yourself that giving is effortless, like a tree dropping fruit not for reward, not for applause, but simply because it is full. The fruit is ripe and it must fall. If you speak of your good deeds, if you remind others of what you have done for them, you turn something sacred into a transaction. Even the receiver feels the weight of it not as a blessing, but as a debt. Then giving loses its grace. It becomes a tool of power, a way to feel superior, to feel needed. Do it and forget it. Let it vanish from your mind the moment it is done. That is real giving, when even you do not remember what you gave. When your left hand does something the right hand need not know, that is not just wisdom, it is dignity. If your kindness is true, the echo of it will remain in the world, not in words, not in recognition, but in the way someone else may pass it on, in the way love quietly multiplies when no one is trying to take credit for it. Let your charity be like sunlight, always giving, never speaking. There is a certain sacredness to the space you call home, not because it is perfect, but because it is private. Within those four walls, emotions run deep, histories are shared, wounds are carried, and healing happens slowly. But when you begin to speak of your family's struggles to the outside world, casually, emotionally, or for sympathy, you are not just sharing information. You are exposing something fragile to hands that may not hold it with care. No family is without conflict, disagreements, pain, even moments of darkness. They are part of the human experience. But those conflicts are not meant for public display. They are not entertainment. They are not currency for conversation. When you reveal the cracks of your household to those who do not live within its walls, you are inviting opinions that are neither wise nor necessary. Outsiders will see only the surface. They do not carry the weight of the full story. Their words, even when well-meaning, can be sharp, divisive, or simply ignorant. What is unresolved within must be handled with presence, not shared in fragments. Speaking outside your home may ease your emotion for a moment, but it weakens the thread of trust within your own circle. It creates distance. It breaks the unseen pact of privacy that holds a family together through storms. To be silent does not mean to suppress, it means to honor. It means to create a space where things can mend quietly without the noise of the world. Not everything needs to be understood by everyone. Sometimes healing begins when we stop explaining and start listening, not to outsiders, but to those within. Protect your home not with walls, but with wisdom. Let what is sacred remain sacred. When a plan is born within you, not just a fleeting thought, but a vision that stretches far into your future, it is like a lamp lit in a dark cave. It guides your steps quietly. But the moment you speak of it too soon, before it has taken form, you risk blowing out the flame with your own breath. There is a certain power in keeping your direction to yourself. A plan, when it is still forming, is delicate. It is a whisper in your mind, not yet ready for the noise of other voices. When you speak it aloud, you invite the weight of expectations, the pressure of opinions, the heaviness of judgment, and sometimes even the subtle jealousy that hides behind smiles. The more people you tell, the more you start shaping your path to please them, impress them, or prove them wrong. In this, your clarity gets lost. A long-term vision needs space, it needs solitude, it needs the freedom to evolve without interruption. A farmer doesn't shout about the harvest before the seeds have even sprouted. He watches, he nurtures, he waits. You must do the same with your dreams. Speak less, act more, let your results speak. Let your steps be seen, not explained. When you reveal too much, you scatter your energy. When you guard your vision, you gather strength. There is no need to convince the world of where you're going. Just walk. When you arrive, those who doubted will fall silent, and those who believed will smile, but neither will matter. Because by then, you will have become the one who no longer needs validation. You will have become the vision itself. Every human being walks with wounds the world cannot see, moments of pain, confusion, loss, and deep inner battles. These struggles are not signs of weakness, they are the furnace in which strength is forged. But not every fire needs to be public. When you are in the midst of difficulty, the temptation to speak about it, to seek sympathy, or even just to release the burden through words is strong. Yet often, exposing your struggles too soon only invites shallow comfort or hollow advice. Not everyone who listens will understand. Some will judge, some will gossip, some will offer solutions that do not fit your path. And in trying to explain your pain, you may find yourself reliving it again and again, making it heavier instead of lighter. There is a kind of dignity in silent endurance, not a silence of suppression, but of wisdom. To sit with your pain, to understand it, to allow it to teach you, this is strength. This is transformation. A tree in winter does not scream about the cold. It stands still, letting the season pass. Your struggles, too, are seasons. They are not permanent. But if you shout them to the world, you may find people treating your temporary phase as your identity. And once the storm has passed, you'll find yourself trapped in the image others formed while you were still bleeding. If you must speak, speak to the few who truly know how to listen without judgment, who can hold space without needing to fix you. But even then, choose your words with care. Most healing does not come from being heard, it comes from understanding yourself in silence, in stillness, in truth. Let your scars become your strength, not your story, and when you emerge from the fire, let your presence tell the tale, not your tongue. So much of life's power lies not in what is expressed, but in what is preserved. In a world that constantly urges you to share, to speak, to be seen, there is a quiet rebellion in choosing silence. Not a silence of fear, but a silence of knowing. Knowing that your desires are sacred, your journey is personal, your giving is divine, your family is private, your vision is fragile, and your struggles are transforming you in ways the world may never understand. Not everything needs to be spoken, not everything is meant to be displayed. The deepest rivers do not make the loudest sound, but they shape the very earth they flow through. So walk this life with awareness. Hold certain things close, not out of secrecy, but out of sanctity. Let the world see your light not by what you declare, but by who you become. What is sacred grows best in silence. Guard it well.